2020 is the year of elections. We've got 2 state elections and we've got 1 big federal election in May. Now, last night, Topher Field came out with a video because he can't wait to send a message to government. The video was explaining how the preferential voting system works in Australia. This is such an important video to watch, and I encourage you all to see it, because what it does is it takes the power out of the establishment's hands and it puts it back into the people's hands. For too long now, the establishment, the mainstream political parties, the corporate media have taken advantage of your lack of knowledge on the voting system, and they've led you up the garden path, hence leading to the last 2 years of tyranny. Now, for those of you around the country, I'm sure you'd be looking to even the playing field, and I encourage you to watch that video from Topher. It's absolutely brilliant. It's neutral. He doesn't play any favorites. He's basically putting the power back into your hands. Now, when it comes to his audience and my audience, a lot of people we're looking to have freedom from government, freedom to choose whether we have to get the jab or not to keep our job, freedom to choose if we want to go into an establishment without showing a jab passport, freedom to choose whether our child gets jabbed, freedom to choose if we want to go across the state borders. Now, if you agree on all of these things, if you agree that we shouldn't bring back lockdowns, then there's a lot of candidates that you'd rather see in government. Well, this is where it's very important. Check out Topher's video, see what he's got to say and how the preferential system voting works, and come back here and listen to this video. Now, if you're still here, the thing I'm doing with Turning Point is slightly different. Yes, we're here to educate you, but we also put on a different hat at times, and it's to encourage you on exactly how to vote. Some people, they have requested that we do how to vote cards. We did that for the local elections last year in December, and it got a phenomenal response, not only in the elections and the results that we helped shift, but it also really helped people who were asking for who to vote in their particular area. One of the troubles with the local elections is there were a lot of independent candidates, and a lot of people didn't know what they stood for. They didn't know if they were left-wing, right-wing, pro-choice, not pro-choice, if they were totalitarians, if they were CCP-backed with money, or if they were even neo-Nazis. That's where we come in. We come in with a bit more knowledge to tell you guys, because a lot of you don't have time to look into each candidate, to come in and say, okay, we know you guys want these freedom policies, freedom from the jab, freedom from lockdowns, and all of that sort of thing that I mentioned before. Well, these are the candidates we came up with. They're at the top of the list, and the major parties that have messed around with you, these candidates, they're terrible. And that's where we come in. So for the federal election, we are doing how to vote cards under Turning Point Australia. These aren't my recommendations. These are the recommendations of a team we have working, and I don't say who they are, because if I did, they would be threatened, they'd be bribed, they'd be a whole bunch of things. Instead, I cop all of that flack. I'm sort of the face of it, because I don't have a say in all of the actual how to vote cards. Now, I want to make sure that that integrity stays there. When it comes to the election, the way that it'll work is it's as simple as sending you a link to the How to Vote card website for Turning Point Australia, and you pretty much put your address in, and it spits out 2 How to Vote cards, one for the lower house and one for the upper house. That's the House of Representatives, and the upper house is the Senate. These are very important in terms of preferencing, and if you've listened to Topher's video, you'll understand why. It's absolutely vital that people preference in a certain way, otherwise they won't get the outcome that they want and in politics, and they won't actually get the good people up for freedom policies. Now, this is my warning to many of you. Turning Point Australia is a not-for-profit organisation. We're not a political party. However, political parties do put out how to vote cards. A lot of the freedom parties that you like and you trust, they will be putting out how to vote cards. But unfortunately, there are some parties who may not actually preference the other freedom parties. Even though they agree on the same goals, they may not preference each other. This is where we come in. If you're not happy with the how to vote card you get from a certain freedom party, no worries. You can send this across, you can put your address in, and it'll spit some how to vote cards out, which will not cut out other freedom parties that stand for freedom. Now, of course, we don't have any blanket policies with these how to vote cards. It's absolutely vital that we look at candidates on an individual basis. You know, you can have good candidates and bad candidates in any party. And this is coming from someone who's seen what minor parties can be like, going back to even before the pandemic. I can't wait to share this with you. I think it's one of the top 3 projects I end up putting out under Turning Point. But again, this is not something where I have a say on the how to vote cards. I cannot wait to tell you some of the stories one day about the pressure that was put on me in the local elections, maybe for a couple years from now. But when it comes to these how to vote cards, they are going to prioritize your choice. They're going to put the power back in your hands. And remember, they're just recommendations. You can always look at the card and be like, you know what, I like that, I like that, I like that, but maybe I might put this party instead here and there and there. And that's really going to help you take control of how you want to vote. I can't wait to put this out. I want to thank Topher for explaining the preferential voting system, but I do want to take it a step further and say, excellent, understand the concepts, and here are our recommendations if you do want them from Turning Point Australia. I'll see you guys later. Well done in Canberra. It was amazing to see you all out there, and the amount of impact that that's had on the establishment media and the politicians, I can't wait to tell you all. I'll see you all later.